Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the NFL Sunday Morning Show. I'm here with my guys Nikki Stees and James from Steelers by the Lake podcast. How you doing? How you doing, guys?
Doing good, man. I'm excited for a day of football. A lot of excitement going on. Yesterday's games seemed to make today's games even more important. So, a very exciting slate of games in front of us.
Yeah, I'm excited. What about you, Nikki?
Hey, I'm here. Let's see. I'm kind of looking forward to some of these games right now, but I'm looking forward mostly to the playoffs.
Yep, I am too. The Chicago Bears actually got their division. They got the division. That was not on my bingo card.
No.
Remember last week, James? We were looking to see who we got, and I don't think anybody had the Bears. I don't think any of us had the Bears.
No, we probably all had them finishing the last, too. So, quite the turnaround. You got to take your hat off to Ben Johnson and the job he did turning that franchise around. I mean, there's some good players. They did a good job in the draft. They did a nice job in free agency, shoring up that offensive line and giving Caleb Johnson some time. But, man, Ben Johnson making all the difference in the world there.
Does he deserve Coach of the Year, you think? I would say yes. He deserves to be in that conversation.
He better be in the conversation, in my opinion. If he's not in the conversation, we're having the wrong conversation.
Yeah.
He's got to be a top 3 candidate for sure.
Yeah.
He'd probably have my vote with that kind of turnaround.
Him, Liam Cohen, and Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there's your 3 right there.
And I love how Nick Sirianni is nowhere near that. I love it. Just keep him away. Keep him away. All right, let's get this started. Nikki, I want to get your take on the whole DK Metcalf situation, and then we'll go to James. So,
reiterate what I said from the 3-point blitz. I mean, to some degree, this is still a player said, fan said situation. And DK says that the fan made both racist remark and a misogynistic remark in referral to his mother, which we've seen this happen before throughout sports history, period. We know there are fans that go to games and do this. So it's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities. And if he did really do that, I don't necessarily feel sorry for him, but at the same time, it doesn't justify hitting fans. Even though if that did happen, DK's frustrations are completely understandable. Now, I think the smart thing would do would be, because you might remember this, Mitch, something similar kind of happened, not the exact same scenario, but at a Sixers-Lakers game when Carmelo was on the Lakers, a fan made a remark. Carmelo went over, pointed out the fan to the officials, then security came and took him out of the stadium or the arena. You could do something similar to that, too. It would have been a smarter way to go about it. Point out the fan to a nearby security guard. They could have ejected him from the stadium, and DK wouldn't have been suspended for the 2 games at the end of the season.
Right.
But at the same time, if this fan really did it, he should be banned from all sports arenas, period. Especially if what you said before we went live is true, that he has a history of starting trouble. Yeah, definitely bar him from stadiums.
Yep. All right, James, how do you feel about, your guy being suspended for the rest of the season with 2 games?
Yeah. In the end, it comes down to DK's got to control his temper. He's known for having a bad temper. That being said, you can't go anywhere near a fan. You can't, lay your hands on a fan in any kind of negative manner. Everybody knows that. But this guy's a complete piece of trash troll. Like, let's call this fan exactly who he is. He did this in Seattle to DK there. DK did point him out to security. He was removed from the game. So this is something that is a repeated behavior of an individual who's just a bad human being. So is it a big stretch to think that this guy said racist things and misogynist things? Not at all. It seems to be right on brand for this fan, unfortunately. And the NFL has to do a better job of protecting its players. Like, to come out afterwards and say, nope, we're not going to hold this fan accountable at all. Obviously, he didn't just call him DeKalen to make him that mad like he's claiming. His Twitter handle literally says DeKalen Metcalf. saying his first name doesn't make him that angry. Let's be very real and very clear about this. And with the angles that have been released from other people that also filmed the incident, we now see that all DK did was grab him by his hair and then push him back into the stands. He didn't even actually throw a punch at him.
Right.
So that's where I think just the suspension is a little extensive. I think a 1 game would have been more fitting for it, just to kind of set the example of, hey, just don't touch the fans, period. Just don't touch them. We had an incident earlier this season with Lamar Jackson and a fan where a fan reached out and touched him, and Lamar grabbed him and shoved him and went after him. 0 suspension. So why is DK getting a 2-game suspension when Lamar actually did more to a fan and got absolutely nothing? So I got a lot of questions here as to how the NFL is handling these suspensions and the punishments, and why one player is getting a lesser penalty for a more severe action towards a fan.
This is where I have to come in and go, it depends on where you're ranked in the NFL and where the ticket sales are. Lamar Jackson's a bigger draw than DK Metcalf.
Exactly.
So with that being said, it's like, I agree with you. There should have been a severe punishment for Lamar Jackson in that situation, but NFL's your business. They're not really going to do that or make them look bad, but hey, they got the fans right where they want them. They got the fans right where they are, and that's where it comes down to. And Vic comes in, who's actually a big Steelers fan. The fan has been slacking DK for years, or stacking DK for years. His nephew said he even said he had this plan for months.
Yeah.
That's wait, what? Really?
I mean, this guy literally was filmed by other fans in the stands after the incident saying that was the goal. Like, that was his big statement afterwards. Like, that was exactly what he went to the stadium to do, was to try to rile DK up and to try to get him penalized, suspended, or whatever, you know. And I'm sure he's going to attempt to sue DK as well, because that's exactly what's going on here. This is not the kind of person you want in stands, that's for sure.
No. It kind of reminds me, it's actually both times against Philly, Nikki. Russell Westbrook. Do you remember the time when he dumped the popcorn? Or the fan dumped the popcorn on Westbrook?
Yeah.
That was one. And the second one, this guy flipped off Westbrook with the 2 fingers, and that guy's a doctor. So it's just like,
what?
Man, the fan. Yeah, you don't remember that? That was like back when Westbrook was on the Thunder. Yeah, that was when Westbrook was on the Thunder. With the
and that was also around the same time you had that one Knicks fan spit on Trae Young. And this is when we're still kind of in COVID.
I find that one so funny because Trae Young's like the ultimate heel for the Knicks. It's just like, I'm laughing. But to reality, 2-game suspension though, I felt like he should have got more. The fans should have been banned. I agree. James, do you think DK should have got more? Maybe, like, if you guys make the playoffs and maybe 1 game there, a couple games next year?
No, honestly, I think it should have been a 1 game. If you would have actually punched the fan and made contact, now we're talking. Okay, I get it. Then come down on him for 2 games. But all he did was yank on his wig and shove him back into the stands. So there's no reason for this to be a multi-game suspension. A 1-game suspension would have been plenty for him to learn his lesson. But the problem with this is that the penalty was handed down by Roger Goodell, and then the appeal was also heard by Roger Goodell. So there is no realistic appeal in this process when the prosecutor is also the judge.
Actually, our coup, we just talked about that a moment ago.
Yeah, what about Raj? Yeah, we talked about that. But Nikki, is that suspension right? 2 games. Should have been 1. Your thoughts?
I mean, I think 1 would have been more justified. It would have been along the lines of, okay, we got to give you something. We can't just let you off scot-free.
Yeah.
But we understand why you did it. So we're going to give you a lenient suspension.
Yeah, I'm good. The thing for me is that how did no one see it? How did the refs not see it? How did no one see it? that's just my question. It's like, you got eyes. Turn over there. Oh, he grabbed someone by the. Okay, how did that not happen? That's my question.
Yeah, in the NFL, it's got to be careful. This is a fine line that you're walking. If you're not going to hold fans responsible for this sort of thing, the players are going to feel like they have to defend themselves and have no choice. So eventually we're going to have an ugly situation where a player's just going to grab a fan out of the stands and just start beating the tar out of them right on the field. Like, that's where this is going to escalate to if you don't protect the players.
Yeah. This whole thing is crazy. What is up, Chad? How's it going, man? This whole thing with the DK Metcalf. So my question is, who's the second wide receiver for you guys now? Who is it?
Well, Thielen's really been stepping up the last few weeks, so Adam Thielen's going to take on a lot of the responsibility. But the number one role is probably going to go to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. With size and speed, he's a guy that can stretch the field in a similar manner, nowhere near as good of a player at this stage in his career. But I think that they're going to start with him, and then they're going to sprinkle in some Roman Wilson, who was a healthy scratch the last couple of weeks. He's going to get a jersey today as well. Calvin Austin's out with a hamstring, so it's their number one and number two wide receivers out in today's game. But that's going to just mean everybody else gets an opportunity. I mean, Scotty Miller got to play at the end of last week's game and got 3 catches, even moving the chains a couple of times and with some nice sideline catches. So I think they'll spread the ball all the way around. But I think the bigger focus today is going to be on running the ball right down their throats.
And wait, wasn't my guy Roman Wilson out majority of the season again?
No, he was actually on the roster all year long. He was healthy, but the last 2 weeks he was sat as an inactive, even though he was healthy. And I think a lot of that just had to do with guys not knowing what to do in scramble drills, not stopping in between zones when they're running their routes, not being precise enough in their routes. Because the second they started playing a lot of Adam Thielen and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, all of a sudden the offense caught on fire again and they busted off a 3-game winning streak. So I don't think there's any coincidence there. But that doesn't mean that Roman Wilson can't learn how to do these things. He's seeing it firsthand. So it's a really good opportunity. Every indication is he's a smart guy and he learns quick. So I think that this was a great opportunity for him to sit there and watch and learn from some real professionals. And then now he gets a chance to prove it the next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so Arku said if the Steelers win today, the Ravens are eliminated?
Correct, because the Steelers will be up by 2 games on them, so week 18 won't matter, which is Steelers versus Ravens.
Oh, wow. Because the Ravens butt-whooped the Packers last night. So I'm like,
on them.
So all that for nothing. Pretty much all that for nothing.
We'll find out. Hopefully for Steelers fans, hopefully for myself. Yeah, like that. Hopefully it means absolutely nothing and Pittsburgh takes care of business in Cleveland today.
I'm waiting for you next week. I'm just waiting for that. I'm telling you, I'm waiting for that. So, speaking of a team that got eliminated, the Indianapolis Colts are eliminated. And I'm like, what an epic collapse that they had this season. Nikki, I'm going to lead off with you, man. What happened with the Colts?
I'm trying to. I think it could be. I remember I saw the NFL documentary, Top 10 Biggest Collapses. This was released a while ago, and the 03 Vikings were on there. One of the players that was interviewed implied that they let the big start get to their head. Probably something similar happened to the Colts because, remember, this started before the Daniel Jones injury. Jonathan Taylor's production, which at first looked like a dark horse MVP season, started to dip. So the team was already starting to struggle before the injury fell apart. So I can't say that's the sole factor. I mean, I think they probably did let it get to their head, or teams started to scout them better, figured out their strengths and weaknesses, and they couldn't adjust. That played a factor. But as a result, now you're going to if you wanted to redo a top 10 biggest collapses sometime during the spring, just to filler time, then you could put the Sears Colts on that list. Or especially top 10 collapses over the past decade, along with the Buccaneers, even if the Bucs ultimately still win that division. Because This went from one of the biggest redemption stories to one of the saddest stories just in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Shane Steichen, come Black Monday, probably going to get the boot.
Ooh. All right. James, what about you? What happened with the Colts?
I'll tell you exactly what happened, boys. This is what happened. They ran into Pittsburgh after a 7-1 start. They came to Pittsburgh all confident, all high and mighty, and Pittsburgh made them turn the ball over 6 times in that game. They shut down Jonathan Taylor. He only had 45 yards rushing, and they just completely took the wind out of their sails. After that game, they beat the Falcons and then didn't win again the rest of the year. So the blueprint was put out there week 8 or week 9, I would say, by the Pittsburgh Steelers on this is exactly how you beat these guys. Wow. they just didn't recover from that. And this is one of the highlight trademark wins that Pittsburgh has this year was beating the Colts and taking the wind out of their sails. Beating the Patriots early in the year was the other one. That was a really big victory for them and reason for Steelers fans to have hope. But yeah, colossal meltdown. And then you really would have hoped to see Daniel Jones get an opportunity to try and turn it around before the season ended. And then he tears his Achilles, poor guy, like doesn't even get a chance to, he looked like he was going to get a huge payday. But you know it's bad news when you got to turn to a guy that's been retired for 5 years to try to save your season. So, you know it's pretty much over when you make that move.
Yeah. I mean, I give Philip Rivers credit for trying and having the courage to go through with it. And like I've noticed, first half he'll usually do solid, but when you've been retired 5 years, it's kind of hard to do it consistently for 4 quarters. And that's what I've noticed through 2 games. So I'll consider it a failed experiment.
So for me, right? Oh, Rivers wins. His grandkid wins. Everyone wins.
Yep.
Everyone wins in his family.
But just for me, giving it a go. And he even said at one of the press conferences, I hope that the kids I coach will be inspired by me playing.
Hey, I think they will. I mean, he's a perfect example, living your dream, right? Believing in yourself, coming back into the league that you loved, that you dominated, came back, you won a game. I'm like, you actually did something on the field. I'm happy. But in reality, though, for me, when it comes down to the Colts, I agree with Nikki. Something got into their head, and they were just like, no one can beat us and all that. And here's another thing, too, with the Colts. Daniel Jones, none of us thought he was going to play like this. No. None of us thought. It was going to be a Jonathan Taylor season, which it was until the point Daniel Jones got injured. Everyone thought Jonathan Taylor would be in the conversation for MVP. All the eyes were on Taylor. But Daniel Jones was like, nope, I'm switching it over, and the Eagles fans can finally root for me. And I was rooting for Daniel Jones for the first time ever, and what happens? Oh, Lord. Yeah, love hurts. They needed him. All right. Next up, let's talk about the Christmas Day games. Nikki, how do you feel about the Christmas Day games, man? I'm going to bring it up the games right now. How do you feel like they went? I watch more of NBA.
In recent years, the NFL, I feel like they've been botching the choices of games for the most part, especially when you compare it to the NBA. The NBA has definitely been a lot better about picking their Christmas Day games historically.
Yeah.
NFL, they're kind of hit or miss. In recent years, they haven't been so great. I mean, 2023, Raiders, Kansas City, and that Eagles-Giants games were just meh. This year, I mean, you had Cowboys, Commanders. I mean, for offense, it was decent. So we at least got a decent offensive game out of it, some highlights. You know, Krosky did all right for me in fantasy-wise, so that was good. Vikings-Lions was just I mean, it was kind of more sad to see the Lions lose this game and miss completely. I mean, their playoff shots were already, in trouble anyway, but you thought they would have at least beat the Vikings. I think that just says more about how much the Lions are missing Ben Johnson, and you might be a bit of a dark horse discussion. You got to wonder, are we going to have the discussion about Dan Campbell possibly being overrated? Maybe. And then the Broncos, Kansas City, I think that just lost all interest when Mahomes got hurt. I'm sorry. I mean, credit to Denver for winning that game and officially winning the division thanks to the Texans. But they got to come up with some better games. I mean, I know they picked some of these games thinking they might be interesting, thought Washington would be contenders, expected Kansas City and Denver to be a good game. So sometimes it happens. You pick games you think they're going to be good, and it doesn't materialize that way for whatever reason. It happens, but they got to come up with something better. I mean, out of the last 3 years, honestly, Kansas City-Pittsburgh was the most interesting Christmas game for me. So they got to come up with some better games.
Yeah. All right. James, what about you, man? How'd you feel about the Christmas Day games?
I think it's some bad luck, to be honest with you. Because if you look at these matchups at the beginning of the season before anybody's played, we would have expected all of these to be good games, and probably would have expected all 6 teams minus maybe the Cowboys to be in tension for the playoffs. Right? The Commanders were awesome last year. Everybody expected them to be a competitive team this year, get into the playoffs, maybe even give the Eagles a little bit of run for their money. Instead, they have a stinker of a year and really fall off the planet as far as how good they are. The Cowboys, I don't know that anybody really thought they were going to be great. So, they hit their mediocre mark that seems to be a pretty normal thing for them. But the Lions and Vikings, weren't they both 13-win teams last year? I mean, they were incredible last year, and we had every expectation that both of them would be competing for the playoffs. And nobody had the Chiefs only winning 6 games this year. Also, you just kind of expect Mahomes to always be able to play. He gets hurt all the time, but he plays through it all the time too. But it's a different ball game when you tear an ACL. You can't play with that. So I think you just had some really bad luck. And if you looked at this slate at the beginning of the year, you were pretty confident you're going to have an all-star lineup. And the season didn't play out that way. But I feel like that's kind of a summary of how this year went. There's a lot of games that you looked at where you thought, okay, this team's definitely going to win. It went the other way. A lot of teams just not playing up to their potential. Even for you guys, for the Eagles, not playing as well as what you guys probably thought coming off of a Super Bowl win. They're still a very good team, but you probably expected them to be a lot more dominant than they've been in their performances. So I think it's just been an extremely unpredictable year. And that just led to some games that just didn't have a draw, man. Like, I went to go watch that 8:00 game, and it was like, I think it was on Amazon or something, and I don't have Amazon. I said, well, whatever. No, I'll watch the Lakers game instead.
Wait, the Lakers versus the Rockets? You're talking about that one?
Which did not go well for the Lakers at all.
I was streaming that game with one of our guys, Rios, who's a Houston Rockets fan. Okay. So we were just laughing at the Lakers the whole time. And it was just like one of the best feelings ever.
Yeah, I was there in the first half watching it.
And then LeBron did not shake anyone's hands, and he walked right into the locker room.
Yeah.
So there's that. Yeah. But
I want to go two-faced LeBron.
But I want to go more into Patrick Mahomes and the torn ACL for a second, because Gardner Minshew got injured too. Gardner Minshew tore his ACL. So for me, I don't see Mahomes coming back till October, November-ish, around there. So what are the Chiefs going to do here? Travis Kelce might retire. If I were him, I would retire right now. So, James, where do the Chiefs go from here?
So here's the thing. Like, these days with ACLs, it's not the same old, year-long recovery that it used to be. It's not uncommon for guys to come back in 9 months from it. So there's absolutely a reason to be concerned that he won't be able to practice in all off-season, mini camp, even preseason games. But my guess is he's probably going to be pretty close to ready if he isn't ready by week 1. And that's just because that's the way things go now. Medical, just everything's advanced so much. A lot of guys are recovering in 6 to 9 months from ACL tears now. Now, I think he had an LCL too, but that's the smallest ligament in your knee. It's just a tiny little one on the outside of the knee. So nowhere near as big of a deal as the ACL is. But I mean, we've seen this where guys have come back same season. Rod Woodson, way back in the day when he was playing for the Steelers, tore his ACL early in the year while trying to tackle Barry Sanders, of all people. He juked him up on Ford Field in the AstroTurf, tears his knee, comes back and plays in the Super Bowl that the Steelers lost to the Cowboys, Super Bowl 30, same season. So it's absolutely a doable thing, especially with the advancements in technology and how it is out there. I expect him to get absolutely everything cutting edge technology wise for his recovery process. And I doubt he misses much time, if any at all, next season. But you might want a little better plan than Garner Minshew for your backup. I don't know. You might want to pay some good money for a backup QB that's a little bit better in case he's not ready for the first couple of weeks, because Chris Oladokun ain't it.
No. I like that name, though. I really like that name. It's a funny name.
Former Pittsburgh Steelers draft pick. He was in the same class as Kenny Pickett. Didn't make the team. He did not make the team, and then the Chiefs picked him up, put him on the practice squad. Now he's got multiple Super Bowl rings.
And then Kenny Pickett too. But, Nicky, where do the Chiefs go from here, man? Where do the Chiefs go from here? I think Travis Kelce is going to retire. That's just me.
He should.
Yeah.
And from here, obviously they're going to be in a slight rebuild. I mean, not a long one because you still got Patrick Mahomes, but you got to realize your superstar just got a torn ACL. He may or may not be ready by week 1. And even if he is cleared to play, that might be rushing him back early, possibly, because we've seen this happen before. But at the same time now, for Kansas City, if Kelce does retire, well, either way, you got to find a new top weapon either way, because even if he doesn't retire yet, he's probably got one more year at best at this point. So and you haven't had a real weapon outside of him since Tyreek Hill. So, I mean, you got Xavier Worthy's decent, but you got to use him on the right plays.
Yeah.
He works with the right situation where he can use his speed. He's not a true number 1. You got other guys like Rashid Rice on the roster are solid, but where's that true number 1 guy on that offense? You might even have to go try to make a trade, maybe even try to trade up in the draft to get somebody. I mean, you're probably going to have to make some sort of trade this offseason, either for someone from another team or try to trade up in the draft, something to get another guy. And you also need someone on that offensive line to help out, because really, since the Super Bowl last year, that Kansas City offensive line has not been a top-tier offensive line.
And here's another thing, too. Chris Jones. In my opinion, he's one of the most overrated players in the league. I don't think he's that good, honestly. And, he's a real head case, Chris Jones. So for me, I'm like, I feel like is he still under contract, or can they let him go? Do you guys know that about Chris Jones? Is he?
That's a good question.
Because I think they need to cut ties. I feel like they need to cut ties. They need to do something. He
signed a 5-year back in March last year, so he's still under contract.
So he's okay.
Yeah, you're not getting out of that then.
And that might be a tough contract to trade. So
yeah, that's gonna be really tough. So they're stuck there. I feel like they're stuck, but they got to do something. That I just don't think he's that good, honestly. I don't. Am I crazy for thinking that?
I think he's dropped off. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his stats from the last few years. He only had 5 sacks this year, only 5 last year. He had his peak years, 10.5 sacks, 15.5 sacks. He's had some monster years, but it's been a few years since he's done it. So, I mean, he only had 26 tackles this year. That's kind of embarrassing for like a Pro Bowl level defensive lineman. That's a pretty significant decline and drop off there. So that might not play out too well on that contract. He looks like he's 32 years old now. If you still got 4 years left on that deal, man, you might be trying to get out of that one before it's over.
Yeah. one of the guys in the network, he's a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and he
Yeah.
cannot stand Chris Jones. He cannot stand him. He's just like, he can't stand up all his antics, and he's not producing on the field. So he's like, what are you doing here? And now the Chiefs are moving to Kansas City in a couple years. So it's like Kansas City need to figure something out. Yeah. I don't know. I'm seeing a big thing coming within the next couple years for that to happen. So, all right, let's get into the last night's games, which
and all I'm going to say is it's crazy. This is Andy Reid's second time he's dealt with losing starter and backup back-to-back weeks. 2002, McNabb, then Coy Detmer Monday night the following week.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Oh my God. Yeah, Butterfly is so tired of Mr. Swift.
And that's how Finn C got the legend of A.J. Feely, the Miami Dolphins starter.
Yeah, he needs to. Travis Kelce, I think he should retire right now. He's basically lost a lot of steps. So let's get into last night's games, which the Chargers tried to make a bit of a comeback, but it wasn't enough. And then the Ravens demolished the Packers, which made sense because Jordan Love is out. Malik Willis got injured. So how do you feel about the games last night, James?
Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised by the outcome of the Texans-Chargers game, just because that Chargers offensive line's been so injured this season, and the Texans defense is just incredible. I mean, those guys swarmed to the quarterback like nobody else in the league. So you kind of had a pretty strong thought that was likely going to turn out that way. So not a huge surprise for me, I guess, on the outcome there. I was disappointed that the Packers didn't put up a little bit better effort. When your opposing team runs for over 300 yards on you, it just shows a lack of spine, and guys just doing an awful job tackling. Derrick Henry showing he's still got some left in the tank there because he ran like a runaway freight train in this game. I went and watched this game with some friends, some fellow Steeler fans. In the place we went to was just like packed full of either Packers fans or Steelers fans. We all left we all left disappointed, you know. I'll give Malik Willis credit though. You know, he put some good tape out there. And I believe he's a free agent after this year. And I think this guy just made himself some money. He went into this game injured already. He got that shoulder injured last week and still played pretty well, in my opinion, in this game. So he showed some real ability with getting out on the run and scrambling and throwing the ball 16 well, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong dude here. 18 of 21 for Malik Willis in this game for 288 yards passing. He did his thing with an injury to the shoulder on the throwing arm. The knock on him coming into the league was accuracy and could he make the throws? Nobody questioned his athletic ability. He's an incredibly athletic dude. He showed yesterday he can really sling the rock around, and that was while having an injury to the throwing shoulder. I'm impressed with what Malik Willis did and embarrassed by what the Packers defense did. Just awful. Swiss cheese is all you can say when you're talking about that defense.
Yellow Swiss cheese.
Yep.
Let me ask you this. Are the Packers officially out? Are the Packers eliminated from playoff contention?
Detroit lost.
So Detroit and the Vikings are out. The Packers are still in, or they're in, or they have a chance to...
Packers are the 7th seed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they have that tie. Even if they lose next week, they're 9-7-1. Lions and Vikings have 8 losses. So
I hate that. I hate ties. I cannot stand ties. They ruin everything.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, thank God the Cowboys are eliminated with that tie.
With Malik
but still,
Willis, this goes to show you again that it's not solely the quarterback; it's the team. Remember Tennessee? Yeah. He had nothing around him in Tennessee, and they gave up on him way too quickly. I feel. Mm-hmm. But you see, he goes to Green Bay with a more competent coach. He actually can do something there. So it goes to show you a quarterback actually needs a supporting cast around them, not just themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's really developed. You got to give him credit. He's gone from a guy that was struggling to complete 40 to 50% of his passes to completing a really high percentage of them. I honestly didn't think that Malik Willis would turn into the guy that we saw last night on the field. So I'm impressed with him, and I think somebody's going to pay him a boatload of money to try to be the franchise quarterback for a team that needs one.
The Cowboys are still in a conversation, even while they're gone. They'll always be talked about. The Dallas Cowboys are always going to be that team that everyone talks about, even when they're out.
Scenarios.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy.
I even just thought of a random if Matthew Stafford were to suddenly retire during the offseason.
How old is Stafford? He's got to be out there, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure offhand.
Here, I got you. I got it. Thank you, Google. Thank you, Google. 37.
37, is that what you said?
37, yep.
Yeah, that's up there. We'll see how his back feels. There was a lot of question as to how he was even going to be able to play this year and how injured he was. So,
yeah.
If that doesn't feel so good, you never know.
Is he going to win MVP? Is Matthew Stafford going to
win? I think this is the same conversation that we had before where he should be a top 3 candidate. You're talking about him. You're probably talking about Drake May. And I'm not sure who the other one would be offhand, but those two have to be 2 of the favorites probably.
So who were they again? Matthew Stafford and
Drake May.
Drake May. Yeah. Would you put Bo Nix in that conversation or no?
I don't know if Bo's had good enough of a year for that quite yet. Maybe Sam Darnold. I don't know. Sam's had a really nice year too.
I love Sam Darnold, man. I love Sam Darnold. He's been killing it. You know who else deserves in that conversation? Because this team turned a 360? CJ Stroud. This team started so bad in the beginning of the year, and then you look where they are now. They're in the playoffs. Like, give the credit to D'Amico Ryans. He could be in a coach conversation, too, of the year. CJ Stroud, he's got to be in a conversation for MVP.
There is one question, though. Do you consider it more CJ Stroud MVP, or was it mostly the Texans defense? Or is it a combination of the two? So
I think it's a combination of the two. You can't discredit anybody. That defense saved the Texans. I agree with you there. But CJ Stroud, he found himself in the beginning of the year. He was sucking and then he turned to 360. So you can put either way in a conversation. So,
but at the same time, that start to the season might disqualify him from MVP contention. I think. Yeah,
I'm just saying you just have to maybe in a conversation, maybe not. But I'm just saying you got to give a respect where credit is due because he turned the team around. This team was a complete 360.
So, yeah, I mean, TJ's had a nice season. You're looking at 2,800 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, 8 picks. But if we're going to talk him off of those numbers, are we talking about Aaron Rodgers?
Right. Aaron Rodgers, what was his numbers? His numbers are
about the same yardage, 28-60. I think there's a difference of 15 yards there, but 23 touchdowns and only 7 picks. So he's got 5 more touchdowns and 1 less interception, and very largely responsible for the turnaround in Pittsburgh.
And this is arguably Aaron Rodgers' last. Is this his last year?
We'll see, man. We'll see.
Please be done. Please, you're I'm begging you. Please.
He's kind of held that carrot out there of maybe, I don't know. And DK's been trying to convince him all year. I think if Pittsburgh makes some noise in the playoffs, if they're able to win the division and maybe win 2 games, I think it's going to give him a reason to want to come back because he's going to think that the team might be good enough to seal the deal next year. I think if they somehow make the miracle run and win the Super Bowl, which I don't think they're quite at that level to do, then he would retire for sure. And also, if they don't even make the playoffs, I could see him retiring on that too. But if they make just enough noise, it might put that taste in his mouth of, man, maybe I can get one more Super Bowl before I retire.
Yeah. And Butterfly asks, are the Bengals out? Yes, they are officially out, right?
Yeah, they were out.
Oh, God, yeah, they're done. What a year for the Bengals, though. What a year. It was terrible.
not only are they out, their quarterback doesn't look like he wants to play football anymore. So that's a really bad problem going on there. And we had this conversation earlier in the season, right? It screams the Andrew Luck situation where he was just injured all year, every year, like clockwork. They didn't put a good offensive line in front of him. They didn't protect him. He's got the weapons, but he's never had a defense and he's never had an offensive line, and he's just hurt all the time. And it's tough to be enjoying anything in life when you're always hurt.
Yeah, he's got to. Do you think he should request a trade? Because the Bengals have done like nothing for him. Yes, they gave him Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, but there's no defense. There's no offensive line. There is a kind of a run game with Chase Brown, but other than that, nothing. You gave him nothing.
I think if you're Joe Burrow, you better have a real serious conversation with that front office this offseason and say, hey, listen, guys, I've made enough money. I don't need to play ball anymore. So give me an offensive line and protect me, or I'll just hang him up. I won't even ask you to trade me. I'll just hang him up and retire early.
How old is Joe Burrow now?
He's not that old. I don't think he's even 30 yet.
I'll tell you in a second. He's 29.
Yeah.
It's going to be like another Andrew Luck situation.
It screams it.
It really does.
It. Yeah.
But here's the thing with Joe Burrow. He's not going to retire during halftime. He's not going to retire during halftime. During a preseason game, that's not going to happen. Joe Burrow's probably going to film commercials and stuff like that. He's fine. I can see him going to the, broadcasting booth or whatever.
Yeah, or even coaching. He'd probably be an excellent coach.
Yeah, and Butterfly, I agree. He needs to go to another team. I'm saying this, I feel bad for Joe Burrow. Philly halftime is in the chat here. He always compares Joe Burrow to Jim Kelly. He always says that Jim Kelly never got it done. Joe Burrow never going to get it done. He made it to the Super Bowl once, did nothing. Jim Kelly you guys know the whole Jim Kelly story. So that's the comparison he makes all the time. And I'm like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but.
Imagine Joe Burrow in Indianapolis.
Oh,
now we're talking. Now we got an offensive line in front of him, some weapons.
I feel bad for Daniel Jones, though.
That's an Achilles, man. Sometimes that's a year and a half, 2 years.
I know.
They might have to go a different direction. They might have no choice.
But at the same time, Joe Burrow's a guy who has started in a Super Bowl. If you have the opportunity to go for it, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely agree with that. I'm just trying to. Now I'm thinking about Joe Burrow possibly the other teams now. Can you imagine? Oh my God. Can you imagine the Chiefs? I know they won't do it because of Mahomes, but Mahomes is out. Burrow is a Jet. Burrow is a Jet.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that's even better situation. Sarcasm.
I got to talk to my buddy. He's a Jets fan. So I'm going to call him after the show and be like, how would you feel with Joe Burrow? He'll be like, Mitch, just shut up. Shut up.
What about Minnesota?
Ooh,
if things don't work out with J.J. McCarthy,
another Michigan guy goes down.
I'm just saying, if it doesn't work out for J.J. there, and I know he's looking a lot better the last few weeks, so that's something to be happy about for Michigan fans, but that's another situation where Joe Burrow could take that team right to 13-14 wins probably.
Except for our head coach situation. We got a new one now. And by the way, congrats to your Penn State. They won yesterday. I was watching that game.
We'll see how many of these kids jump ship now that it's a new head coach. But
you think a lot of them are going to leave?
I mean, that's the only thing is that the former coach, man, he was one hell of a recruiter.
Right.
So I got a feeling that at least a few of these kids are going to bail. But
true.
Yeah, that's just the way that goes. When you've had a head coach for a long time, it's gonna cost you some people when you lose your head coach.
All right. Let's start up the trivia real quick, and then we'll go into the game of the week and all that stuff. What NFL team has the most playoff losses in league history? They never won a Super Bowl, and it's in the NFC.
Oh, I was going to say Bills. So
no, it's in the NFC. I'm telling you guys right now, it's an
Minnesota
NFC.
Vikings.
Got it, Nikki. 32 defeats. 32 defeats in the playoffs. That is just crazy. Wow. And then what team has the most record for most sacks in a single season?
Did the Eagles just get that?
Nikki, did we get that?
Didn't you guys have like 70 sacks last year or something?
Nah.
Because what I found, I don't think it was the Eagles. It's in the NFC, same division as the Vikings.
The 85 Bears?
84 Bears, 72.
Oh, holy crap.
72. So.
Was that a 14-game season back then, too?
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's even more impressive.
I know. It's just like, that makes you think, right? Look at Saquon Barkley. He could have broke the record, but the guy before him, I forget his name right now, I'm drawing a blank. He did in less games than Barkley. So I feel like the more games you get, it's gonna hurt your chances. So I'm like, who was that guy who held the record? Who is that? It's not OJ Simpson. Is it? No.
The rushing record?
Yeah. It's not OJ, is it? He no longer running. But
I'm not sure offhand, but I can try and find it.
Yeah, I'm actually curious. NFL here, I'll look it up too. Nikki, who do you think it is?
With the rushing record, Eric Dickerson?
Yeah. I think it might be Dickerson. I think you might be right.
Single season.
Eric Dickerson, Nikki got it. 2,105. So it was Nikki. So it was Eric Dickerson.
In 84.
Saquon Barkley was close.
14-game season.
Yeah. Saquon Barkley could have broke the record, but he's just the most perfect teammate. He was like, let Kenny Gainwell get some yards. Let Will Shipley get some yards. And by the way, congrats on Kenny Gainwell this season. That was a hell of a catch.
Got to be a front for the ESPY catch of the year. I'll tell you what, man.
What was going through your mind when he caught that on the ground?
I'll tell you what, watching it live, I thought it was incomplete.
Right, me too.
There's no way he caught that. When he got up and ran into the end zone, I was like, why did he bother doing that? Isn't it incomplete? And then they showed the replay. I was like, holy crap, man. He's made some ridiculous catches this year, but that's just a whole nother level right there.
Is he the best offensive player on your team?
He's got the best hands. He's got the best hands. Yeah. I mean, DK drops the ball on a regular basis, so it's not him. The other receivers, I mean, maybe Adam Thielen's got some really good hands. Pat Fryermuth has incredible hands. But this dude all year long is catching, like, ridiculous stuff, like reaching over one-handing it right off of the grass. Like, his hands are absolutely incredible. And that was the thing they were excited about when they signed him, was his receiving capabilities.
Yeah.
And he's just turned out to be one heck of a signing. I mean, they only paid him $1.7 million. This dude's going to get paid.
Oh, my God. Hey, Kenny Gainwell, the NFL is a Super Bowl champion as well.
He sure is. And honestly, thank you for moving on from him, because he's been a godsend for us.
And thank you for moving on from Slay. Slay's going to retire, I feel like, now.
Yeah.
I feel like no one's going to take Slay now. I think Darius Slay's done.
The Bills still hold his rights?
I don't think so, because he didn't go there, right?
Well, but they claimed him, so unless they officially waive him, they still hold his rights, and he can't go anywhere.
Oh, shoot. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. That's the problem. And honestly, like, I don't see the Bills waiving his rights before the season's over, because they might end up having to play against him if they do.
Is he even on a team? Yeah. I don't know. That is just crazy. I forgot all about that. And then the last question here. Which franchise has lost the most conference championship games? NFC. I don't know why I picked every NFC question. Maybe next week I'll do AFC. Which franchise has lost the most conference championships?
I think there's a chance this is the Cowboys.
No. It is not in the East. Not in NFC East.
The Niners?
It's the Niners, yep. It is the freaking Niners, and kind of saw that coming, kind of did, but yeah, if it was the Cowboys, I would have laughed. I would have laughed so hard if it was the freaking Cowboys. Be like, pick that.
That was part of why I guessed them first. I figured you would have chosen something that slandered the Cowboys.
Yeah. Butterfly got it right. Yeah. And so, no, it was not the Cowboys. Shocking. It was really not. So let's get into, I guess this is the game of the week, Eagles versus Bills. But there's another game. I feel like this is even better. That's the Bears and the Niners, I feel like. So let's go with that one. How do you guys think this game would turn out between the Bears and the Niners?
I mean, is there anything really on the line for either team at this point?
He clinched the division, the Bears.
Yeah.
The Niners didn't clinch, right? Or did they?
No, they're still behind Seattle by a game, it looks like. So San Fran's got everything to play for. So that's a tough one because you get to this time of year, and if a team doesn't have anything to play for, sometimes they rest some starters. So I could see Chicago sitting some guys that they don't necessarily need to play if you've got some guys with some nagging injuries, especially key contributors. You sit them in a situation like this. So I could see San Fran just coming away with this just because the Bears don't necessarily need to win.
Nikki, Bears, Niners.
And also it's I'm thinking it possibly the Bears may be resting their guys, but I think the Bears because Kittle's going to be out. Supposedly, right. That could be the difference factor there because the Bears are still. They know they don't have the number a seed locked yet, and they want to give themselves the most favorable opening matchup. So I believe they'll give it a go, and they'll come out with the win.
So for me, I'm going to go with I think I went with the Niners in my pick'ems. I don't want to go one way picking the Bears in this and then having my pick'ems be the Niners. I hate doing that. Like, that's one of my pet peeves. So let me double check who I have. That's like my worst feeling here. Bears, Niners. I took the Niners. Okay. So, yeah, I have the Niners. I feel like Christian McCaffrey's going to have one hell of a game. And George Kittle, is he having a good year? You guys think, George Kittle? I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing like a good year for him.
Yeah, 52 catches for 599 yards and 7 touchdowns. That's less than normal for him. But he's also only played 10 games, so he must have missed at least 5 games due to injury. So, that would explain a lot of the lack of production there.
Here's the thing. Dallas Goedert missed some injury too. Time due to injury. He's got 10 touchdowns this year. And he's not even in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
I hate the Pro Bowl. I can't stand it. I used to love it back when I was a kid. And I used to love it with all those big names having fun. But it's not like that anymore. You got dodgeball.
Yeah.
You got freaking dodgeball. Yeah. How do you feel about the Pro Bowl this year with all the selections that have been made?
It's a slippery slope with it because a lot of it just becomes a popularity contest. Once you get in a few times, you just automatically keep on getting in regardless of your accolades.
Right.
You're not going to hear me say this sort of thing too often, but TJ Watt made it to the Pro Bowl and he only had 7 sacks this season. So I don't know that was necessarily the correct vote in that situation. And then Cam Hayward, by all accounts, is having one of his best seasons ever and didn't make it. According to Pro Football Focus, he's their number 1 ranked defensive tackle in the entire NFL right now and doesn't even get into the top 4 in votes in the Pro Bowl. So there's a big disconnect on, are you popular enough or are you playing well enough as to who's getting in. And I'm kind of glad they don't play a game anymore because what was the point of it anymore anyway? They haven't really played in a long time. So I think if you find the right events, you can still make this fun. I think you can go back to some things they used to do back in like the 80s and 90s where they had like an NFL's fastest man competition. So you have to qualify for the Pro Bowl, but you can have your wide receivers and defensive backs and whatnot literally running 40-yard dashes against each other or a 100-yard dash, whatever you want to do. Just see who the fastest guy is and do a bench press competition. We've seen that in the past too, where you throw 225 on the bench and go put all the big boys out there and see who can put it up the most times. Like, you can do some stuff like that and still have fun with it. I like the relay race stuff when they do the relay races. I think those are kind of fun.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I liked the dodgeball growing up. I did like that because it reminded me of the movie Dodgeball.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there you go, there's that. But for me, it's just like, I'm done with the Pro Bowl. Like the NBA All-Star Game, it's like the same thing now. It's getting to that point. It's just like, okay, something needs to make change. Then the NBA is making changes right now, as you would see. The NFL made a drastic change that's going downward. Like, nobody cares about this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody really does, and it sucks. And all they care about, it's not even in Hawaii anymore.
Yeah.
It's not. It's in Florida. Why would you Why would you take it out of Hawaii and go to Florida with it? That's just...
There were always empty stadiums in Hawaii. That's the problem. There weren't enough fans there. So that's why they wanted to bring it stateside, because they figured attendance would be better, which would bring in more revenue for the NFL. But if you're going to do that, then up the ante. Bring the actual physical game back. It used to be, it was like $75,000 for the losing team per player and $150,000 for the winning team. Up the ante. Make it something significant where it's like $250,000 per player on the winning team and only like $100,000 on the losing team. Then maybe these guys will actually be willing to go out there and actually play hard again. In the end, it all comes down to money for these guys, and the risk wasn't worth the reward, which is why they weren't playing hard. But if you put some serious money up on it, then you'll probably get these guys playing again.
Yep, I definitely agree with you. And Butterfly, I love the NBA. I love the All-Star games. I love the 3-point contest or whatever. I love it. I'm a basketball guy. But it just seems like it's not the same thing anymore. It is really not. Like, it's the same exact thing. I always watch the 3-point contest. Yeah, I'll tune in for that, but I won't tune in for the Pro Bowl. I might watch the dodgeball, but I don't watch that. Nikki, do you watch the Pro Bowl at all? No.
No.
Yeah.
Last time I did that was grade school.
Dang. The last time I watched it, what was it? A couple of years ago? I felt like, because there was nothing else on, and I'm like, you know what? I'll watch that. I'll watch it. Just kill some time. But, yeah. All right, guys. Let's go into the upset of the week here. Who do you guys have for the upset of the week? Let me pull up the schedule for today. Who's playing tomorrow? The Rams and the Falcons. Oh, wow. Who you got for upset of the week? I'm trying to think here. As of right now, I got nothing. How about you, Nikki? We'll start out with you. You know what? I got one. Carolina. I'm going to go with Carolina over Seattle. I think I picked Seattle to win this. But Carolina, they're about to win the division. Isn't that crazy? Carolina's about to win their freaking division. So yeah. I'm going with Carolina, man. They're a sneaky team. They can find out which ways to win. So who you guys got for upset of the week?
It's a really bad week for upset of the week. Because
I know.
Crap teams versus crap teams here.
What about the Giants and Raiders?
Like, I'm certainly not going to pick the Jets to beat the Patriots. That's for sure. Buccaneers and Dolphins is like is 6-9 versus 7-8. Can you really call one of them an upset? 2-13 versus 2-13. 11-4 versus 11-4. 11-4 versus 10-5. Like, there's not a lot of upsets here. So I'm going to ride with you on the Panthers over the Seahawks. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but I think it's the most likely real upset because everything else is either pretty evenly matched teams or two bad teams.
I'll say same. Panthers, Seahawks.
Sorry, Bo. Sorry, Bo, if you're watching. All right, man. You're my pick for the Super Bowl. But, yeah, I got the Panthers. And then who is your lock? Who's your guys' lock for this week? My lock, I'm going with your Steelers, man. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh over Cleveland. I feel like they really want to solidify this playoffs and want to get in and push Cleveland out of the way. And Myles Garrett has a chance to actually break the sack record. And I'm like, ugh. I'm going with Steelers. How about you guys?
I'll take the Patriots on my lock, and I really hate picking them for anything, but they're just playing really good football this year, and the Jets are just absolutely atrocious. So
yeah,
I think that should be a pretty easy, probably 2-score victory there.
You know what's funny? So last week, James, remember when Big C made that comment about the Patriots being overrated?
Yeah.
Right? I clipped it. You saw it on Twitter. Yeah. I put it everywhere. It's the third highest on TikTok right now. It's our second highest on Facebook right now. It's like our top 5 on YouTube right now. And it's just like roasting him. And it's just completely roasting. It's like, oh, it's a Dolphins fan. Get new podcast equipment and stuff like that. So, here, I want to go through the TikTok comments, but yeah, that was definitely the hot take here. That was definitely the hot. How many views is it? It got 2.6K likes or views on TikTok.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, 16 likes and 33 comments. Gee.
Yeah, when the comments are that high, it's usually not good for the person creating it.
He's a clown emoji. 12 and 3. Really? Anybody can make podcasts nowadays, huh? The more you people talk, the more motivated they become. I think you're wrong. I mean, the Dolphins had an easy schedule for 20 years. What's your excuse? That was a good one. That's a good one. I'm liking that one. I'm liking that one. Show me one person that picked the Patriots to win 12 games. Because, yeah, nobody's S-rating them. So glad not to be a Dolphins fan. Dolphins fan. They give anyone a podcast today, right? Thank you for being a voice of reason. Okay, that's me.
Twisted. There's somebody else back.
Yeah, average Dolphins fan that has to watch Quinn Ears this week. Dolphins fan laughing, make podcast equipment more expensive. We're not getting anything new. Watch us cook in the playoffs. And, okay, you lose, Pats win. So, yep. It's just like funny. So, man. So let's go in. So Nikki, who your lock? You picked the Patriots too?
It would be that. Yeah, Patriots.
You're going to Patriots?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Now let's go to our picks for this week. Who you guys got? The Cardinals at the Bengals. Let's do that. I don't know. They're both pretty bad.
They're both pretty bad, and I don't think Jacoby Brissett has any wins since taking over as the starting quarterback. I think he's over. So I'll take the Bengals just because they have a more competent offense. But definitely one of those games that's going to have some pretty poor ratings.
And hold on. Butterfly said send Burrow to Miami. That would be decent.
That would actually be interesting.
He could definitely have some success there, but they'd have to release basically everybody on the roster because of the cap penalties from Tua, and Burrow's getting paid too. So you'd have like $100 million tied up in those two guys, even if Tua isn't on the team anymore.
I really like that. Yeah, I really like that pick. But yeah, we're all going Bengals. I think I went with the Bengals.
Yeah, Bengals.
Right? Let me see. Did I go with the Bengals? Please tell me I did. Please.
You should have.
Yeah, I did. Okay. What's next? Pittsburgh at Cleveland. I took Pittsburgh here. What about you guys? Pittsburgh?
I'm taking the Steelers. It's time to double team Myles Garrett. He hasn't seen a lot of that this year, a lot of one-on-ones, which is why he has so many sacks. But this week he's going to have Darnell Washington, a 311-pound tight end, following him around and double teaming him. And I think we're going to see Myles on his back a few times in this game.
All right. So we got another one here from our crew. Joe Burrow to Detroit. I wouldn't mind that at all. I wouldn't mind that. I think that would be decent. And then Alexander says Justin Jefferson will go to the Titans. I kind of doubt that. I really doubt that. But yeah. Imagine Goff moves on and the Lions find a solid quarterback. You know what? During free agency, during the offseason, we're going to take all your predictions, put them on the thing, and see who gets them right. I feel like that would be the most entertaining.
That'd be fun.
That would be great. All right, next up, Saints at Tennessee. I took the Saints. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'll take the Saints too. I think they got a little bit of momentum going on right now and trying to fight for jobs. I'll take them over the Titans.
All right, Nikki.
So I'll go the Saints in this one because at least they do have a little bit of a spark and they've been playing decent lately. So I'll take them to keep that momentum going.
All right, Jaguars at the Colts. I took the Jags. I don't know about you guys. I took the Jags.
Yeah, I'll stick with the Jaguars too. The Colts just don't have any hope at this point. So
yeah. All right, Nikki.
I'll take Jaguars in this one.
All right, who's
as long as they're
next
playing
here?
For something.
All right,
in this
we
scenario.
got next up, Bucks at the Dolphins. I took Bucks.
Yeah, I'll take the Bucks.
They need
Bucks
a win.
They've been awful lately, but their season's on the line. They can still actually make the playoffs here, so they need this win. I think they play their butts off and get it.
All right, Patriots at the Jets. Patriots.
Yeah. Patriots.
Yeah, easy one.
Seattle at Carolina. Who did I take? Please tell me I took Seattle. Please. After talking so much about the Panthers earlier, I took Seattle. Thank God. You guys taking Seattle or someone taking Carolina?
I'm going to take the Panthers in the upset because that defense, that secondary is really underrated. And Darnold, despite some of the good plays, he sometimes still makes those mistakes. And this could be a favorable game for the Panthers to force them to make mistakes. They did it to Stafford even. They did it to Purdy. So I could see them doing it to Darnold too.
I think the Seahawks team has been a little underrated this season and just kind of showing up week after week. I think they handle the Panthers pretty easily.
Yep, right there with you. Giants at the Raiders.
The team, no one should want to win this. This is a battle for the number one overall pick. You need the number one overall pick.
Yeah.
Start your worst players.
I got the Giants.
I'll take the Giants too. Yeah, I'll take the Giants too just because Jackson Dart. I think he can get a win for you.
Yeah. Here's a funny thing about Jackson Dart. In my fantasy league, someone had him, and they took him, and they got him 0.02 points.
Ooh.
And I was at dinner with my buddy. He's like, "Yeah, man, Dart sucked." I'm like, "Did he get injured?" He went, "No, he did not get injured."
He must have turned it over a bunch of times to get that few points.
Yeah. Nikki.
This is the one game right here with the Eagles and Bills that I think Buffalo's going to win and they match up better, but it's the one time I hope I'm wrong this week.
You took the Giants too, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm taking the Eagles as well. I feel like they've been on a nice momentum. Even though they were against like the Commanders and Raiders, I felt like that build momentum. Even though we are missing Lane Johnson, we are missing Jacoby Dean for this week. But if they give Saquon Barkley, don't give Saquon Barkley the rock enough or a lot because I'm against him in the fantasy championship game. So please, I'm begging you. If he scores, I'll be happy. But if he fumbles it, I'll be happy too. So either way, I'll be happy. All right, who you got, James?
I think the Eagles are crazy if they don't give it to Saquon a ton in today's game. Man, that's the biggest weakness of the Bills' defense is their run defense. So
right.
Sorry to say this, Mitch, but I think they should give Saquon the ball a good 30, 40 times today.
No, give it to Tank. Give it to Bigsby. Let him be the number one guy. And be like, you know what? We're going to have Tank give the most amount of rocks tonight. They don't want to risk Saquon Barkley getting injured. I can honestly see that. I can honestly see having them sit Barkley for a lot of the game because, we got nothing else to play for.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see that as well. And of course, Alexander's going for the Bills. Of course, you're a Cowboys fan. That makes sense. By the way, what happened to your Chargers?
Oh, dang.
I picked the Chargers to win. Bears at Niners. This is going to be a fun game. This is going to be a really fun game. I might watch this tonight. I took the Niners. You guys take the Niners or anyone taking the Bears?
The Bears.
Okay. I like that. What about you, James?
I'm going to take the Niners also here, although I do think the Bears have a little bit more to fight for than I realized because they still could get the number 1 seed. So I think they should be fighting for that to try to get that number 1 seed.
All right. The Monday night game, Rams at Falcons. What a terrible way to end the week.
Right.
What a terrible way to end the week. Because I'm telling you, these games are I have a feeling they're going to be good today. And then, bloop, we got this. Rams.
Yeah.
I got Rams.
Throw for 400 today.
Who? Stafford?
Yeah, throw for 400 today, yeah.
Nikki, you too?
Rams.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You better have two games on today. Yeah, guys, the Sixers are also playing the Thunder the same time as the Eagles are playing the Bills. So I'm going to have my monitor with 2 games here. It's going to be one there, one there. So I'm like, Arku, I know you guys are going to kick our ass today, but yeah, just have us some sympathy. That's all I care about. We don't have Embiid, which is a plus. Embiid is out. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the NFL Sunday Morning Show for this week. James, what you got going on, man?
Steelers by the Lake podcast. Join us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, anywhere you find podcasts. You'll find us Monday recap shows, Saturday morning, talking about the next game.
I saw you uploaded 2 videos on the what happened there? I saw that.
Cody happened. That's what happened.
What do you mean?
He wasn't on the show. He moved recently, and at his new location, his internet service sucks. So he just randomly jumped in at the end of the show. So we're like, all right, since you're here, give us your keys to success and your score prediction. He did, and then he ended the show before we were done with it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. He's doing a good job with the thumbnails, though. There's that, but still, damn.
Yeah. So we had no choice but to record a very short second one so that we could conclude the show.
I watched that. And you were like, well, here's the second one. I'm like, well, all right. Arku, how long is Zubre out for? I don't know. I feel like he's going to be out for a couple more days. But other than that, Nikki, what you got?
We got Tuesday. We got the 3-point blitz at noon. Then we got Pick'ems Tuesday night on the network with me and Agent Warrior X, previewing Week 18.
All right, guys. And as for me, you'll see me today for the Eagles game and all that. What is up, Cameron? What is up? With that being said, guys, like, share, subscribe. We'll catch you all next week. Everyone have a good rest of your Sunday. Go Birds and Sixers.
Go
Do something.
Steelers.
Do something. Wait, hold on. We got one more comment left. You got the Bills. Okay. All right. Catch you guys later, man. Have a good one and peace.